this Man United team could be the death of me. Could be the death of me. Because there's a balanced part of me tonight that says, well, we had a lot of players out. As I've mentioned, De Ligt, Maguire, Casemiro, Ahmad, Maz, Mbumo. Who am I forgetting? Bruno goes off injured. Obviously goes off injured. 6 or 7 players. Mainu not on the bench. 6 or 7 players out for injuries, suspensions, AFCON. And it was always going to be a tough ask. And I actually felt that young Aiden Heaven today, really impressive. I felt Ugarte started slowly, but by his levels, had a good game. I thought Cunha overall was magnificent. Should have scored a second goal with the header. But I thought overall he played brilliantly. I thought Dorgu had a terrible first half, but grew into the game. Delo was okay tonight, considering he's not had a great season. I felt Mount had another very solid game for us. I thought Lissandro came into the midfield and played well. We just didn't have enough quality on the football pitch to let our dominance for large parts of the game count. So that element I'm happy with. The bits where I'm frustrated, and the first area I'm focusing on here is Leny Yoro. And there's a lot of the Amorim outers, and I remember I don't side with the Amorim outers because I think most of them are idiots. But they never like to look at players, and we have to look at players today as well. And Leny Yoro for me, because the opening goal, United in the ascendancy, a couple of very good counter-attack opportunities in the first 5-6 minutes of the game, and then nothing for Aston Villa. And then a ball over the top. And the first mistake made by Leny Yoro in this goal is you can see here, there's a bad touch from Rodgers, and the ball almost goes out of play. And Leny Yoro is lazy. Some people won't like that term being used, but I don't care, because in this moment he was lazy. He has to sprint with every fibre in his being to get within a yard or two. Now, don't rush in because you can get turned, but get close. And then what you have to do, and the most important next part of this, is show the man down the line. Show him down the line, onto his left foot, make it hard for that ball to come in. That's all you've got to do. But you can see here from both these images, doesn't get close enough quick enough, and then he stupidly shows him the inside and encourages Rodgers to take a pop on his favoured right foot. He's got a wand of a right foot. Allows him 2.5 to 3 yards of space. Bang. Top corner. Unstoppable shot from a goalkeeping perspective, but very stoppable from Man United's point of view. If Leny Yoro is out there, if Leny Yoro closes that space down, and if Leny Yoro shows him down the line, there is a big chance this goal doesn't go in. And it comes down to 2 things. 1, a bad footballing decision to show him on the inside. 2, laziness. Laziness, work, shine nonsense, and I cannot abide that. One of the principles of Man United, we've been talking a lot about our principles recently, about youth and courage. Another massive part of our culture as a club is hard work. You run yourself into the ground. Didn't. Lazy. And then for the second goal, very, very similar again. Asleep. He should be getting to that ball before Rodgers does. Sleeping, lackadaisical, and then watch. Go and watch the footage. I can't show it because of copyright claims. Go and watch from this point. Isn't breaking his back to get there, but he's sleeping and he's ball watching. Gives Rodgers the space, and bang, curled into the top corner of the goal again. And it was two brilliant strikes. Nothing to be taken away. Nothing to be taken away from Rodgers, but sucker punches to United because we were playing well. And Leny Yoro tonight should be in that dressing room, and he should be holding his hands up, and he should be taking accountability and apologising. Massively should be apologising, because I think both goals are hugely preventable if the space is closed down. If he still turns you, if he still gets the shot off and scores, what more can you do? What more can you do? As I mentioned already, but large parts of the performances tonight I liked. You know what? The only other real the other player that I'm going to give criticism to. It's hard because I thought he played quite well. I do think Cunha's got to make it 2-2. Wonderful play by the team. Patient. Mount spreads the ball out to Dorgu. I felt Dorgu grew. I actually liked Dorgu's second half. Still needing to work on his crosses. His crossing's too lofty. I wrote that down tonight about a lot of our crosses tonight. The word lofty, I must have wrote it down about 8 times on my notes. But really good crossing, and really and truly Cunha should be burying that. He really, really should. But the performance in itself overall was okay. And I'm always someone that can look at the positives even from a bad result. But something I can't get out of my head, and I need to gauge from you guys in the comment section whether you think I'm onto something, whether I'm completely wrong, and I'm open to your opinion. I couldn't help but think about the manager and think, you fucking Wally. You wallad. When I grew up in the East End of London, we used to call stupid people beanheads. You beanhead. That's how I felt about the manager today. Because losing 2-1 away at Villa with the form they're in, with how well they're playing, and playing quite well, in itself isn't the worst situation in the world. It's not the worst moment in the world. It's not the worst. I can take it to a certain degree. But what I haven't been able to get out of my head is the fact that we made, again, some excellent tactical changes today. We were 4 at the back for large parts of the game. I don't care who scored, FootMob, any of these websites show as the graphic. I don't care, actually. I couldn't care less what they show because I watched it with my eyes, and we went into a back 4 on a regular basis, in and out of possession. What we then did is we sat Ugarte, who again, I thought had a good game outside stupidly giving the ball away in the opening couple of minutes. Couple of bad passes, but a good game. Just kept the ball simple, didn't overcomplicate it. Do your job. Sat him with a 3-man midfield ahead of him. We packed the midfield. And I was like, well, look, a subtle change. A subtle change to the shape without abandoning your principles. We did similar against Bournemouth and looked really good. But what I couldn't get out of my head, what's triggering me now every time I think about it is, why haven't we been doing this when De Ligt was fit, when Maguire was fit, when Maz was here? Why weren't we doing this earlier on in the season, bringing Mainoo on earlier in games or starting him in games? Why haven't we been doing this when we've had people with the skill set of Mbumos and Ahmad on the pitch? I look at it and I think back to the Forest game, the Spurs game, Everton, West Ham, those 4 specifically. And I think to myself, those types of changes to not be overrun in the midfield, those types of changes to outsmart an opponent, we pick up more points. And a night like tonight doesn't hurt as much. So I will go in on the players that made mistakes because they deserve the criticism. But I'm looking at the manager, and there is a part of me that says, well done now. Better late than never. Better late than never for making these changes. But they're coming so late in the day. There's 2 expressions that spring to mind. Better late than never. Yeah. But also too much, too little, too late. I don't want to see him. I want to see more of it from this point. Because I felt we were a little bit unlucky today at times. I felt we were a little bit unlucky as a collective team. Yoro works a bit harder. I think we win. Yoro works a bit harder. We may pick up a positive result today. But if I was in that room with the manager today, it's why have you waited until the AFCON period to make these changes? Is it arrogance? I've made the changes because I've been forced to. And then maybe he keeps them afterwards. What was it? What was your rationale and reasoning? Bothered me something chronic. It was just bothering me in the game. I'm sitting there and thinking to myself, how have we not... we're away at one of the best current teams in the league, making these changes and looking good. Why haven't we done it earlier? Why didn't we do it at home against 10-men Everton? And some people say you shouldn't look backwards. Well, I think that's bullshit. because that's all standard. That's the standard FC mugs will say that. But yet you can't have standards unless you look backwards, you bellends. You have to. If you don't look backwards and learn from history, you'll keep making that mistake in the future. And I am looking back in recent history and thinking, why weren't these things implemented sooner? I'd love an answer from the manager. I'd love to understand it from at least a logical point of view. But look, I'm gutted to lose today. Said it earlier and I'll say it again. Congrats to Villa. You know, they won the match. I didn't think they deserved it on play. Rodgers, the finishes were amazing. You know, I'm not going to take that away from him. But yeah, just feel gutted. Just feel gutted. Really, really gutted with that one. Would love to get your views. Can't wait to read your comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already as well.